Let's take a look at the numbers for these two teams, both boasting a very good hitting percentage in the early part of the 2020. Welcome inside the Malkin Athletic Center. We are underway with our opening match between 8th-ranked BYU, number 20, Lincoln Memorial. BYU to the left of your screen in the blue jerseys, and the Rail Splitters of Lincoln Memorial in the gray to your right. Pass there from Jackson Fife, the senior libero. That one is blocked on the outside by Axel Van Bars and Ocean Walsh. Big block for the first year, Ocean Walsh out of Illinois. A little bit of an earlier start than expected to this opening match. Serve from Inbar Shahar, the setter from Israel. That one goes just a little bit long. Young setting duo for this LMU team. Shahar has split time with the freshman Roman Mallerwine from Tennessee. Shahar just a sophomore, Mallerwine a true freshman, so they have shared the duties this year. Here's the senior setter for BYU, Tyler Herget. He's actually a New England native from Connecticut. Started his career at Penn State and then decided to join when his younger brother, Trevor, signed on with BYU. There is also a connection there with their father, Todd, who was a linebacker for the Cougars football team. Nice pass there by Fife. Herget to the back. That one hammered down the line by Talon Jonathan Tufunga. Junior from Long Beach, California, former league MVP at Lakewood High School. Plenty of room that time for Tufunga down the line, and he'll get an opportunity to serve. Overpass into the net. Oh, just a little miss there from Max Philippe. Looked like he might have gotten there a half beat early. Peak of his jump might have been coming down when he made contact with that ball. And Rail Splitters will catch a break, and Walsh will serve. Herget to the middle, and Philippe gets another chance, puts it right in the breadbasket of his counterpart on the other side, and makes up for the miscue. Philippe, a true freshman from Houston, Texas, part of the AVCA Best and Brightest list his senior year. Walsh unable to get out of the way of that one. Clean pass here for Shahar to the middle. A little tip will work for Rea Milosavljevic out of Serbia. Also part of that IVA preseason all-conference first team. He was a transfer from Quincy University. Led the nation in blocks per set a year ago at 1.2. Someone to watch for in the blocking game here. Gets a piece of that one. Playable for Zion, put it on top. Over the double, was there a touch? There was not. George Stevens trying to catch a fingertip, could not find one. So the BYU block gets out of the way of that, and we're tied at 4 here in the opening set. Here is Connor Oldaney, sophomore from Phoenix. Tough ball for Zion. Shahar tracks it down. Back row shot through the block, punched over by Herget. Quick reaction there. Stevens a tip and could not be popped up. Good effort that time by Bernardo Adam hitting the deck. As that was actually Oldaney who hit the floor to get a piece, but the tip from Stevens drops. First kill for the freshman from Nashville. And the Stevens chant from the LMU bench as he serves off the tape. Herget to the middle, block, kept alive. Fife able to save it. Popped over, free ball for the Rail Splitters. Shahar to the outside, no. Set a little bit off there. Not sure what happened, just a broken play. Might have been intended for Milosavljevic. BYU will take it after they had to surrender the free ball. Here's Mosier, the All-American from a year ago at GCU. Another chance. Fife with a good pickup. Tufunga's tip returned. Herget will get to it. No, he's called off by his middle. Tufunga couldn't put it away, but the block is in the net. Herget had to go a long way to try to set that ball. Gavin Chambers decided to step in, just put it up. Gave Tafunga a second chance. And he drew the LMU block into the net. Oh, Mosier. Side spinning serve there. That one had a lot of movement on it. Nothing you could do about that for the serve receive crew. Top spin and side spin, and that's just inside the line. Next one into the net, but a little mini run from Mosier gives BYU the early lead here in the first. Here's Milosavljevic serving. Fife picks it up. Herget, Tafunga, blocked. That lands in. Already the third block for LMU. That was Walsh out there with the setter, Shachar. This LMU block has been impressive in the early going. Actually got all three. The outside, Van Bars came over too, and it was actually him who got most of the ball. Backset here, deep tip, picked up well. Back row swing, and Fife couldn't get a good read on that one. Might have been a little bit of a miss hit from Milosavljevic, but it worked out in the end. And just like that, LMU with a quick answer to go back in front. Tafunga takes the pass, gets the set, can't put it away. And the block landed out of bounds. That was very close, but just had enough juice on it to spin past the sideline. Another kill for Tafunga. Already his third. The float serve, overpass, and that bounces off the antenna. He'll go down as an ace for Gavin Chambers, sophomore from Corona, California. All-American coming out of high school. Like many on this BYU team, elected to serve his two-year mission before beginning his athletic career in college. Big swing there. Stevens just took a ball that was up in midair, said, I'll go have a crack at it. And that worked out in his favor. Good to see the Rail Splitters picking up a couple of recruits from their own backyard. They are a Tennessee-based school. All their programs play at the Division II level. However, the volleyball team plays as a D1 independent. Big rip down the line to Funga again. He's off to a quick start. Already 4 kills for the junior. Seesaw first set so far. Jump serve from Herget. Shachar in the middle, tipped and blocked. Good read on that one by Philippe. Up there along with Tafunga as well. Herget serve. Taken by Zach Zion, the libero. Tip, Herget popped it up. Fife sends it midair. Tafunga, roll shot, but that's long. Tried to measure it over the block and inside the back line, but just put a little too much on it. Already 10 sets for Tafunga. That's more than the team's total of attempts so far, so they have looked to play through him early on. There's Van Bars, the Dutch native, serving. Another good pass from Fife. Tafunga again, one-on-one. He'll win that battle. Excellent cross-court shot there from Tafunga. His older brother Storm also played for the BYU program. Let's see, plenty of room around the block that time. Serve is long. Neither team really able to garner a service advantage yet. That's just the second error against the Cougars. they do have 2 aces as well. Walsh, short float, big rip. Mosier, did he get a body? He did. Caught a piece of somebody going down the line there. First kill for Mosier. He's left trying to figure out a final landing spot for his senior season after the Grand Canyon program announced it was ceasing operations kind of out of nowhere last year. It was a Grand Canyon team that was really on the rise. They had put together a great group and were among the best teams in the nation. And all of a sudden the Lopes could not continue on. That one off the net. Mosier couldn't find it. Philippe did a good enough job to fight it off, but it ends up landing harmlessly to the floor as LMU gets the needed side out. And Mosier not the only GCU transfer to come to BYU. The backup setter Kyle Zedeker also coming over from Grand Canyon. Rail Splitters get their first ace. Just like that, even at 14. They're back within 1, I should say. Fife with a good pass. Back row set to Funga again. He's had a strong first set. 6 kills for Tafunga. That'll put Oldani at the line. Already a one-time defensive player of the week in the MPSF this year. Overpass, no, Shakar saved it. Stevens can't put it down. Little mix up of the net. Herget, is that gonna be 4 contacts? Yes, it will. Chambers and Mosier kind of got their signals crossed there, and Herget tried to sell that there was an extra touch available. There's the freshman Stevens again trying to tie it up with the serve. Good jump serve there. Herget, Mosier off the block, saved by Zion though. Back row shot, rejected but kept alive. Fife doesn't want to take a chance. That was close to the line. Mosier able to put it away. Well, there was an argument to be made that the shot over was going to go out of bounds. Fife did not want to take that chance, just elected to re-rack it, and it was a good decision in the end as Mosier finished it off. That one into the net by Mosier. So LMU stays within striking distance. It's now 3 errors for the Cougars. Milosavljevic. Good pass from Fife. Back row chance. Rejected. Walsh up there with Van Bars. Turning away. Oldani might have hit that one a little bit low. Right into the block. It was just above the net cord. Chance for the Rail Splitters to grab the lead here. Tight set, good set by Herget, and it's hammered down by Chambers. Some good acrobatics midair by the senior Herget. The ball was close to going over, but he got there quickly and put it on a tee for the big man Chambers. Serving specialist Cole Hauser coming on here for BYU, senior out of San Diego. That one was just out. It's the 11th error for Hauser this year, just 1 ace. And he's a guy they will call on to go for a big serve late. Shachar, the setter, went right to Mosier. He'll get the backup set and get rejected. Negron getting up there as part of the triple. Turned it away. And all of a sudden, Lincoln Memorial has turned the tide. And Negron, I believe, getting warned, made a little bit of a gesture after the block. Obviously pumped up about it. Been a really good blocking set to start off for LMU. Tafunga, it's returned off the free ball to the middle, deflected, Shahar. Now it's set by the back row, and Van Bars missed it. Maybe just a little too much cheekiness there from the freshman Stevens. Tried to sell like he was gonna hit it and then set it midair, and that may have actually thrown off Van Bars more than anything else. Herget to try to give BYU the lead back here. Shahar, back set. Is it off the block? No. Just a miss from Van Bars there as he couldn't find the hands. So a couple miscues hitting-wise for the Rail Splitters, who are in the negatives in the first set. Still on the board, very much even with BYU though. That one off the block and out. Van Bars came through the net. We'll see how this one is called. Tafunga, who took the brunt of the contact, appears to be okay. Saw the BYU coaching staff immediately was looking for a net violation, but if that ball had landed out of play first, and it's going to be LMU point. I think you see the net move. As Van Bars definitely came down into it, but if the ball had already gone out of play before Van Bars landed, it would be Rail Splitters point. That was the ruling from the official. Now they're going to huddle up here. You could definitely consider calling a replay if you can't make a determination. Now they're going to overturn it and say that the net violation happened before the ball was out of play. So big swing point there. It goes from a tied set to BYU up 2. And the Cougars with the serve. So another error on the LMU side, the third. And Walsh able to redirect it. Nice little shoot set there for the freshman Walsh. Only one blocker up in the form of Philippe. Here's Van Bars with a serve. Fife stepped into it. Herget, long set. Off the block and kept alive. Van Bars did well. Nobody was following the ball though. Now BYU can see the end of the first set here. 4 points away with Tafunga going to serve. Zion able to control it. Big swing off the block, and that's going to redirect out of play. Negron picks up the kill. Walsh will go to the line. And LMU would love to be able to steal one back with a serve here. Flat serve, Tafunga, clean pass, back set, kept up, and could not be popped up by Shahar on the pancake. Again, decent enough first touch, just not quite enough for a second touch to be effective on the Rail Splitters side. Another serving specialist on for BYU. This is Ian Little, and it's an ace. That's a big one from Little. His second of the year. And all of a sudden, BYU in control here. And schedule pretty much the entirety of their program history, but they have won the IVA tournament, the Independent Volleyball Association tournament, 7 times, including last year. They went 24-1 last year. And ranked number 20 in the nation. They're getting close to garnering enough attention, picking up enough quality wins that even as an independent, they could become a factor down the road. Set point here for the Cougars. Well, this BYU matchup, certainly the toughest that they have seen to this point in the season. Another soft serve from Little. Negron able to sneak that one in right along the back line for the senior. The only other power conference team Lincoln Memorial's played this year is a true road trip to Ohio State. And they fell in straight sets. Negron going to need to go on a big run from the line here. Tafunga's pass is on. Tip from Mosier and swatted by Milosavljevic. Back onto his own side. Sremian Little, and all of a sudden the gap was enough for the Cougars to see it through to the finish. BYU starts with the serve here in the second, and it goes into the net from Tyler Herget. Cougars a slight edge of the service line, 2 more aces, but also 3 more errors in that first set. George Stevens, the freshman, will have the first serve for LMU. That one spins wide, so miss serve for miss serve. And here is Taylor Jonathan Tafunga, who led the way for BYU with 6 kills in that opening set on 12 attack attempts. BYU started to diversify the offense a little bit more the later the set got, but Tafunga got him going early. Out of the back row, we'll try to get him going again. 7th kill already for Tafunga. It's already heavily outperformed what he did in BYU's last match against UC Santa Barbara. He was held to just 3 kills, had 7 errors. Mosier picked up the load there with a team-high 13. But today has been Tafunga's day, and he's got another ace. Fourth different player with an ace for BYU as they look to jump out to an early lead and put the Rail Splitters up against the pressure. And nice save by Shahar, and it's squeezed through by Van Bars. Boy, that was another big serve. Zion stepped in front of it. Wasn't a great pass by any means, but he did enough to sort of just direct it at Shahar, who took care of the ball. And Van Bars got there quickly to sneak it inside of the block. Free ball here coming, maybe. Mosier gonna tip it. Negron, Shahar. Van Bars rejected. Philippe doing a good job coming over to close the door there. It's already a couple blocks today for Philippe. Did a great job waiting to cut off that angle shot. Back row, Negron, that's in. A bit of a quiet first set for Negron, only 3 kills, that's his 4th. Now Shahar, the setter. He opts for the float serve. Mosier's tip, Shahar is there. Van Bars brings it back for Negron. Push shot, might have been a double, they don't call it. Mosier in from the pin, off the hands and out. Triple block was there, Mosier just too big. 6'8", yeah, he can really elevate. Back in 2023, he was an all-freshman team member of the MPSF. That was his first go-around with BYU. His serve, right at Zion. A little swing and a miss from Walsh. Negron tried to save it. Timing play was off there. And BYU building the early lead. Zion did well to get under that one. Van Bars, that one blocked. Couldn't quite muscle his way through there. Chambers able to keep redirecting that one over, and we're going to get an early timeout here from Jacob Craig. Good start for BYU with a couple blocks here in the second. Showed you their blocking numbers. They average better than 2 blocks per set. And against Menlo College. BYU will have the first 4 at home. Nice shot there by Van Bars. Here's another one who was on the all-conference first team in the preseason in the IVA. Lincoln Memorial, the favorites once again among the independents. Big rip by Chambers. And BYU again with a quick answer. It's one thing for the Cougars. They have not really let Lincoln Memorial get on any sort of run in this match yet. And the Rail Splitters are going to need one here. Jump serve into the net. And Sendo Shinwalsh back to the line. Good hand pass, Herget to Funga. Van Bars got enough of it. It's brought back. Negron takes care of it. Fife. Herget to the middle. Chambers blocked. Nicely done by Milosavljevic. One-on-one, he guessed right. And that is the 6th block for the Rail Splitters. And giving up a little size up front, but they've won some of those battles. Off the net. Herget goes over on 2. Van Bars will set it up. Negron through the triple and down. He found a seam. Well, just said a moment ago, LMU's not been able to get on a run yet. Well, they are here thanks to the serve of Walsh. Again, Van Bars selling the swing. The block not fooled, but Negron does a great job carving one out past Tafunga there. Overpass, almost held that time by Stevens. And Tafunga able to rip it down the line. Shachar was in front of it. Just couldn't quite control it. Sophomore looked over immediately at his coach, said, "I got that one. Don't worry." Chambers with the serve for BYU. Van Bars fights it off. Shachar, Negron, the tip. Nice diving save there by Oldaney. And it's teed up again for Tafunga. There's just no slowing him down right now. So just as quickly as Lincoln Memorial closed the gap, BYU builds it back up. A little midi run from Chambers. Nice angle shot from Stevens. No, they're going to call it out? Oh, wow. That almost certainly looked in. Jacob Craig thinks so as well. He doesn't even consult with the bench. He immediately goes to the replay card. So LMU is going to challenge us, at least on first blush. It looked like that ball was in, but again, the stand official is pretty much right on top of that play. Yeah, that one does look out on the replay. So again, that's sometime where sort of the naked eye can trick you a little bit, and especially the speed of the game can sort of throw you off. Here's the overhead view of that shot from Stevens. And keep an eye on the left sideline. He tries to sneak this one in. And it goes just out of camera view. So no help on the overhead. But the beauty of the Malkin Athletic Center is they have a cavalcade of cameras overhead, and so the officials will have plenty of opportunity to be able to view it. And again, if you can't get a clear and decisive ruling, you go with what the call on the floor was, which was that the ball was out. First of 2 games today here in Cambridge. The hosts of the Harvard Invitational, the Crimson, will be in action later on this evening against Merrimack. That'll be a 7 o'clock start here on ESPN+, myself and Andrew Gardner. Here's another look at the left side, and that ball does look like it lands out. So this very likely will not be overturned. Again, looking at it from the near side where that sideline is, looked like it might have caught a piece of the white, but that view from our end zone cam, pretty good look. Shows you the ball landed out. And so this should be BYU's point. Let's see some of the Cougars pointing out where the camera locations are, so that they have those shots down the line. BYU still dominating the attacking, hitting over 200. LMU for a long time in that first set was hitting in the negatives. They just got back to an even mark by the end of the first set, and are just slightly in the positives now at 0-30. Well, those errors at the end of the first set really another part of the equation that kind of cost them down the stretch. They were able to sort of make up for the early errors with the blocks. Well, taking a long time to confirm this call. Here's another look at that end line shot. Again, looking at the left sideline as you really slow it down. Looks like that ball does get past the line before it lands. So this is part of the life with the challenge system now in collegiate men's volleyball, is sometimes these reviews take a little extra time, and so for the players it's about trying to stay loose and stay ready to go in the moment. And it is going to be BYU's point. Confirmation that the ball landed out. And the Cougars' lead grows here in the second, 11-7, after taking the first 25-21. Another chance for Stevens. Tafunga pops it up. Battle at the net. Going to be won by Stevens. It gives a little flex. Back row chance. Nice pickup by Van Bars. Back row shot for Negron. That one just long. Another conversation from Jacob Craig with his setter Shachar after the fact. We get another timeout perhaps, or a challenge. Or maybe Rail Splitters want to look at this one as well. That one was close in the corner. Again, ruled out on the floor, but a little bit of an early roll of the dice for Jacob Craig. Only one challenge left after losing the first one, so you got to be 100% on this one if you're going to challenge it this early. Well, that's really tough to tell. That ball almost directly at the corner. Coach Olmsted with a brief word for his team. Again, just going to let the players sort of stay loose amongst themselves. There's Jacob Craig on the other side, talking it over with Negron. LMU coming off a 24-1 regular season last year. They do play as an independent, so not bound by any set schedule. They do play a majority of teams in the Conference Carolinas League. That is the sort of geographically closest league to them. There's another look. Again, really hard to tell from that angle whether that ball is definitively in or not. And certainly, again, a bit of a risk here for Lincoln Memorial, but certainly, you know, part of that calculation is you don't really want to get behind any further in this second set. So rare you see a team that gets down even 5 or 6 points be able to sort of claw their way back in a set. And it's just very difficult to do in this game. The way that teams go for serves and the way that, you know, if you're able to serve receive effectively, tough to stop a good offense. Both these teams have effective offenses. This is just the second trip this year for Lincoln Memorial. Their only other road game, a trip to Ohio State, and actually Lincoln Memorial doesn't even play a true road game here. They will get the benefit of the challenge result, though. So that one called in by Negron. Jacob Craig giving him the point, say you had it. Senior knew the ball was in, and he was proved correct in the end. So LMU goes 1 for 2 on the challenges and steals a point back there to get back within 2 with Negron serving. Herget to the outside. Tafunga couldn't put it away. Quick set. Push by Stevens. A lot of air under that ball. Another chance. Tafunga stuffs it home. Well, Zion dug the first one up. This time Tafunga just powers through the block. Another quick side out by BYU. Here's Herget. Shachar tried to go over on 2, and Tafunga is on that one. Read the setter coming and just stuffed him. It's been a one-man wrecking crew. And good anticipation. He was up there quick. Stevens almost had to come back to that ball. Fife, the backup set. Roll shot off Zion and out. That was well spotted by Connor Oldaney. Third kill for the sophomore. BYU with their largest lead of the day. Herget serve taken by Van Bars. Back set, Negron. That one snuck just by the side of Mosier. Negron trying to muscle LMU back in this one. Rail Splitters definitely going to need some help from the service line, though. Here is Stevens. Good pass. Tafunga again. That one's out. Looking for a tip. Not going to get it. Looked like he just might have been a little off balance in midair. Just the third error by Tafunga today. Already in double-digit kills. Serve into the net. So any dreams of a run quickly dashed for Stevens. And now Tafunga will serve. He's one of the 4 BYU aces. We'll get another there. There we'll give it back over to the rail splitters. Milosavljevic. Off the net cord. Good adjustment by Fife. Mosier with the power shot. BYU will call on the serving specialist Cole Hauser here. That one picked up easily. Negron again finds a seam. That back row shot's becoming very effective for him. 3 straight out of the back row for Negron. He had that corner shot that was ruled in on the challenge, and then a couple through the seam of the block. Float serve from Shachar. Big swing by Oldini, and Chambers caught reaching. That ball was still on the LMU side. Chambers tried to go and get it. And made contact with it. So a little bit of a miscue there by the middle. And again, LMU refusing to go quietly here in the second. They're back within 2. That one handled nicely, and Chambers gets a chance to atone there. Good set by Herget. And a good call to go right back to the big man. Aldini will serve it. Pass from Van Bars. They've started to look his way more on the serve. Negron got a little too much air into that one. Back over on the left side, and couldn't quite measure it the same way. So again, a few more runs here in the second set, swings of momentum, and BYU is led throughout. Negron off the block, pancaked by Mosier, back row to Funga. Van Bars, Shachar, back row Stevens, that one is long. Immediately, Jacob Craig again races for the green card, and another challenge from the Rail Splitters head coach. Just wanting to convinced that Stevens caught a hand up there. And this is going to be a really tough one because the touch calls at the net, as many camera views as you can look at, you could break them down Zapruder film style and still not be sure what you're seeing is a touch or not a touch. So that's the task that the official has, to try to determine whether or not there was contact on the swing from Stevens here. And again, it is a big roll of the dice here by LMU. They could be out of challenges after this if this is not overturned. Here's a look at the overhead. And this back row swing from George Stevens. Does it catch a piece of Chambers, or does it go right through him? So Chambers doesn't think he got a piece. There's a look at the net cam angle. This is usually the best opportunity to see if you get a finger move or not. And it looks like that one goes just straight through. No net call. No net movement. Chambers did well to stay out of the net there. Already our third challenge this set, all from the Lincoln Memorial side. And it is unsuccessful. So that's going to leave the Rail Splitters without a challenge now. And Sunday evening, through the wickets, get you 3 points. But in this game, just means the ball was probably hit long. That was the case, unfortunately, for Stevens there. After the long delay, a missed serve, though. So again, BYU a chance to kind of pull away in the second. Lincoln Memorial will try to claw their way back once again. It'll start with Van Bars. And it's an ace. Just a power shot that Mosier could not collect. Big blast from Alex Van Bars. Just the second ace for the Rail Splitters. And another. 2 in a row, this one right at Tafunga. And a timeout taken by Sean Olmstead. His right foot. So BYU trying to make Van Bars think about this one. And it's nearly another ace. Herget just got back there to save it. Still an opportunity for LMU. Off the block, that's out. Stevens might have taken a little something off that swing, but he just wanted to make it tough for the defense and use the block to his advantage. 3 straight behind the serve of Van Bars. He saw the triple and just put it off Mosier and out. Serve goes out. Close one. Good run nonetheless for Van Bars. Again, when LMU needs it most, they're able to put a few points together. Mosier trying to respond with his serve. Van Bars, a good pass. Negron high off the block, saved. Back row, Mosier steamrolls one down the middle. Very close to that 10-foot line. But took off just behind it. 7th kill for Mosier. Plenty to swing at there. And a big block. Stevens denied by the setter, Herget. And run the show offensively. Out of the timeout, Mosier trying to put the finishing touches on this second set for BYU. Good serve, handled well though by Walsh. Back row chance, Van Bars. Crushed that one off Oldani. Van Bars had a little coming out party here at the end of the second set. Had a few errors near the end of the first that hurt LMU a little bit. He's starting to find his rhythm. Walsh, float serve. Herget, quick back set. Spun down the line, and they're going to call a carry. A block in the net, I believe. LMU would have probably had a chance to at least extend the rally, but the block called in the net. And here comes the other serving specialist, Ian Little. Had an ace to help close out the first. Lefty jump serve. Shahar will track it down for Negron. Around the triple, dug by Mosier. Tafunga through the triple and down. 11 kills for Tafunga. Continues to be rock solid up front. And now set point for the Cougars. And block doing about as much as you can there. Tafunga just too good. And an ace for Little to close it out. So Northern Kentucky, a relative neighbor. LMU with the serve to open the third, and Tafunga can't quite find the corner. Looked over at his head coach and maybe thinking about an early challenge there. BYU has not used a challenge yet. LMU has used both of theirs. But it being the first point of the set, I don't think Sean Olmstead's gonna go to the replay unless he's sure. Tafunga gets another chance here. That one definitely hit. So he follows up the missed swing with his 12th kill. Leads all hitters. He's the only one in double figures. Negron leads the way for the Rail Splitters with 8 through 2 sets. Here's Herget with the serve. Shachar, long back set for Van Bars, and that one spun high and wide. Another big jump serve from Herget. Good pass from Stevens. Set to the middle. Put away by Walsh. Just the second kill for the freshman from Illinois. He's hitting over 300 on the year. Hasn't seen quite as much offensive use as his fellow Mido Milosavljevic. Back row chance. Mosier. My goodness. That is elevation. He had time to survey the landing spot before burying that ball. Funga's jump serve in the net. So a few more errors starting to creep in here for BYU. They only had 2 aces in the second, including the one that ended the set from Ian Little. Walsh with the float serve. Set to the middle, deflected but picked up. Van Bars out of the back row. Nice gather by Herget. Mosier off the block. Second try, picked up by Van Bars. Over to Stevens. Herget with another dig. Mosier again in from the antenna. It's blocked and then punched away by Philippe. And some frustration from the BYU bench there. Not sure if it was the touch by Philippe, or maybe they wanted Mosier to go somewhere else with that ball. And a nice block up front by the Rail Splitters. Another short float from Walsh on the serve. Mosier takes care of business there. Switched it up and went down the line, and again, no chance for the defense. Here's Philippe with the serve. Van Bars pass, a good one. A little bit of an awkward set to the middle. And Oldani goes off the freshman Stevens and out. As BYU tries to build itself the cushion it enjoyed for most of the second set. After the first set was separated by no more than 2 points, the second set was almost entirely separated by 2 points. As Philippe gets the friendly bounce off the tape for an ace. BYU built itself about a 4 or 5 point lead early. Lincoln Memorial would get back within 2. BYU would stretch it back out, and we kind of went back and forth in that fashion for the rest of the way until the Cougars closed it out. Mosier again off the block. No one gives chase. And the Cougars starting to pull away again. Mosier now in double figures with 10 kills. That one into the net, but a good little run from the freshman Philippe. Spent some time with the National Development Program. McGrone looking to get on a run here for LMU. Fife has been very steady in serve receive. Missed shot by Tafunga. Good look out of the back, but put it into the net. Chance to tie it up here for Negron. Tafunga gives chase, can't save it. And ace for Negron. That is just the 4th for the Rail Splitters. Against just 4 errors. Good pass there from Tafunga, and Mosier with another rocket. All of a sudden, BYU's kind of shifted their offensive focus here in the third. It was Tafunga who they were utilizing early on. Now they've gone to the senior Mosier, and he is crushing it. Out of the middle, Milosavljevic drops one in front of Oldani. First kill for the Serbian native, who has a bit of a connection to the Boston area. He's a huge Celtics fan, we're told. Big fan of both Jaylen Brown and Larry Bird. One Celtics legend, one burgeoning legend, I suppose. Mosier tips that one off the block and out. Yet even on a broken play, he makes something happen. Cougars back in front 9-8 as Mosier goes to serve. Shachar gets low, sets Van Bars, he's blocked. Chambers with good penetration there. And Van Bars couldn't spin it off of him. Back row chance, that one's out wide. Negron came at it with a head of steam, just couldn't quite control it. Again, BYU builds the lead back up. Zion, good control of the pass. Tipped over, and Tafunga laid out. Couldn't get underneath it, though. Milosavljevic just going directly over the top of the block there. A little bit out of the reach of the crashing Tafunga. Serve into the net for Milosavljevic. Bit of a quiet day for him. Someone LMU loves to utilize a little bit more offensively. They just haven't gotten enough opportunity to get him the ball. Chambers serve, taken by Van Bars. There's Walsh, the other middle. He's had a couple more chances today. That's his third kill. 5 attempts. And Shachar will go back to the line. Back row chance, Mosier. Again, just over the top of the block. Just a towering figure there out of the back row. Might as well be hitting in the front row even when taking off from behind that 10-foot line. Again, just so much room to see the court there. Herget into the net. Mosier all of a sudden 13 kills. He's got either 6 or 7 in this set alone. Here's Van Bars. You know he's got a big serve. Unleashes another one there. Tafunga has to save it. Mosier bumps it over. Van Bars, Shachar, Negron. The tip off the block. Punch back. Mosier is there. Oldani called for the double. He looked a little unsteady because that ball was quickly moving toward the net. And I think he just tried to make sure he was going to get it past the block and may have done the old 1-2. Chance to tie here for LMU. Good pass. Set to the middle, and it's hammered by Philippe. Second kill for Max Philippe. Took some frustration out on that one. Turned it to the short side, but had room. Tafunga with the serve. Shachar will chase it down. Stevens over the triple. Right to Herget. Fife the bump set. Oldani. Oh, what a nice shot that was. Momentum carrying him in from the antenna. He's able to roll it off the inside of the block. and sneak it down that line. Good look at it here. Just carves that ball nicely into the alley. Negron turned away. Philippe there with the block. All of a sudden, BYU once again type of deficit a couple times in the second, and we're able to get back within striking distance on multiple occasions. Good pass there by Zion. Back set, and Negron answers with a big swing. His 9th kill, leading the way for LMU. Nice back set there. And Van Bars couldn't quite get enough of it off the swing from Muldaney. That is his 7th kill. So the big three have all delivered for BYU today. Tafunga, Mosier in double figures. Muldaney chipping in with 7 kills. Good day offensively again for BYU. Down the line, Herget with some good defense. Tafunga, tough ball. Tipped, Herget there again. Chance for Mosier, roll shot, returned. Herget, another dig. He's everywhere. Mosier blocked, and Herget couldn't get that one. He did just about everything else. That last one off the block, just out of his reach. Big time block by Negron on Mosier, who's been just about unstoppable in this 3rd set. Rail Splitters trying to figure out whose serve it is. It will be Negron going back to the line. Pass from Tafunga. Herget, back set. Muldaney blocked. He recovers it. Herget back to him. Muldaney down the line. Zion popped it up. And Van Bars couldn't save it. He got into a spot where anybody else could really make a play on it. So now Muldaney will serve. Shakar, Stevens off the block and out. Again, sometimes better when he takes a little something off the ball. Able to see the big block in front of him and just tool it to the outside. You see he gets under that ball a little bit, uses Chambers. Back row to Funga. Stevens saved it off the deflection. Van Bars put it over. Guess it stayed inside. Tafunga's 2nd time around. Lands out. And now I think BYU will challenge. Sean Olmstead over to grab the green card. And this one, obviously one BYU wants. If that ball is out, all of a sudden Lincoln Memorial again has an opportunity to make this set a little tighter. BYU would like to get out of here in 3 and have a chance to scout Harvard later tonight. See where this one lands. At least going frame by frame there, looks like that ball probably in. You know, Tafunga was certainly convinced. This serves as a little bit of a de facto timeout as well for BYU to sort of gather themselves without having to spend an actual timeout. One more look. This is side view. Yeah, that ball definitely in from Tafunga. So this should get overturned and be a successful challenge for BYU. Coming up at 7 o'clock, Harvard and Merrimack, two New England schools doing battle. Both teams looking for their second win of the year. Wow. They're going to say the ball was out. All right. So maybe a break there for LMU as BYU loses their first challenge, and it is a 2-point set. Stevens out with the serve, so not able to build off the momentum of the victory in the challenge, and instead Mosier will have a chance to once again widen the lead. And he puts it in the net. So this is where serving can sort of keep your opponent in it. Fine line between wanting to put up a tough serve to make life tough or being over-aggressive. Off the float, back row, Oldaney spins it to the corner. Nicely done there. That's his 9th kill. And again, BYU will go to the serving specialist, Cole Hauser. In the net. So a couple misses for Hauser today. And again, all it will take is a couple good serves here, and the Rail Splitters will have a chance to steal one. It'll be up to Shakar. To the middle, it's blocked, but out. Boy, good anticipation by Van Bars to double over. But Philippe did enough with the swing to redirect it out off the block. Now Herget. Walsh punches it. Herget is there. This defense has been really good here in the third. Set up for Tafunga. Tough set, but he's able to push it through. Tafunga wins the joust. By a rare offset from Herget. He was trying to backpedal it, and he didn't really put it in a great spot, but Tafunga did his setter a favor and took care of business. Just muscling through Van Bars there. Shachar, back row set, the tip kept up by Tafunga, bump set, Tafunga swing, put away. And again, doing it all in 1 point. A little one-handed flip dig. And then the kill to boot. First a change, then not a change. Ian Little will come into the front row here, replacing Oldaney. Maybe as a just in case to serve it out. Herget serve, comes right back to Funga. Herget, back row, Mosier, that one long. Looked like he tried to find a body to hit there and just couldn't find a target in the end. So here's Van Bars. He's going to need another run like he had in the last set. Fife takes care of it. Big swing, and Little put it down. So how about that? First opportunity to swing at a ball for Ian Little, and he puts it away. That's his first kill of the season. He's been almost exclusively a server. And his first opportunity in the front row, he puts the ball down. Tafunga to serve it out. Popped up by Van Bars. Into the rafters, it'll fall, and that will do it. BYU takes care of Lincoln Memorial. It's their 7th victory of the year, And their fifth, excuse me, against a ranked opponent.